Hello friends, Coach Bob with you, and if things look a little out of sorts, it's because, well, I had my Worship on Wheels stuff ready to upload, but we are on the road and I don't have my cable for this hard drive. So this hard drive is, it's a brick, so I can get a cable for it. So I'll pick one up when we get into San Diego. Anyway, Coach Vic and I, we are on our way to beautiful San Diego, California to see our grandson. And our daughter graciously agreed for her and her husband to stay at her home and take care of the dog and take care of everything for us so that we could come out to California and see our grandson. And then as things moved more quickly towards coming to see our grandson, I developed sinusitis and bronchitis. Fortunately, it was not COVID-19. So I didn't have to go into the quarantine and all that stuff. But it was one of those things where the cough was pretty terrible, so we delayed the trip a little bit. And then at the last minute, when everything started getting better, we were like, okay, we're ready to roll. We pack everything up, and then you don't bring everything. And Coach Vic and I, we really don't worry a whole lot about things. And oddly enough, this Worship on Wheels is about stress. Again, this is the last one. This is number 3 on stress. I believe it's episode number 5. Again, I apologize that it's not a motorcycle video, but it is going to be a little bit of motivation, I guess. I've had a lot of comments and folks being very kind about the Worship on Wheels and that it's encouraged them. And so I learned a long time ago, if one person's encouraged, that's more than enough. So I'm sitting here on a laptop with a little camera that's on the laptop, and all my notifications are popping up on my phone or on my watch. But so we're going to talk a little bit about stress and how to control it. One of the things, and this is a prime example, is this. Okay, I don't have the cable that I need. So one of the things that you have to do when it comes to stress, first thing you do, I said this in episode 1 about stress, you have to cast your cares upon Jesus. Cast your cares on him because he loves you. He cares for you. So I know that I don't need to be worrying about that. It is not the end of the world that I don't have the cable that I need. This will go out, and the person that needs to hear it, this will be the perfect format for them to hear. So I don't really worry about that kind of stuff. We're going to talk about a concept. And this concept is one that we really need to grab a hold of, not only as Christians, but as professionals. And Stephen Covey addressed it in his book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, a phenomenal book. If you haven't read that book, I highly suggest you read it. For over 20 years, I read it every February. I quit reading it after I retired. However, I'm thinking that maybe this year I'll read it again. It was a life-changing book for me. And a lot of the concepts in there are amazingly biblical. He had a concept in there, and it was this. You have your circle of concern. Those are the things you worry about, like don't forget your cable. That would be a concern. And then you have your circle of influence. And what that means is, well, I left the cable at home. Can I magically make a cable appear? And the answer is no, I can't. So if I worry about that, then I won't do this. I won't find a solution to the problem. I'll be focusing on the problem as opposed to a solution. So what we have to do is focus on the things that we can change and not on the things that we can't change. The whole idea behind this is that the more you focus on the things within your circle of influence, that circle of influence grows. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And then this other giant circle that's huge out here, right? It's everything we worry about. That one, as we focus on this one that grows, the circle of concern gets smaller, smaller, smaller. And that means we worry less. And worrying less decreases stress. So a very simple concept about worrying and not worrying. Being happy about things and focusing on the right things. We have to be shrewd, right? We have to really know how to focus on the right things. The Bible tells us in the book of Matthew, chapter 10, verse 16 is, behold, I'm sending you out as sheep in the midst of wolves. Yeah. And we're to be as wise as serpents and as innocent as doves. You know, it's easy, I think, to be as wise as a serpent. I think that all of us can kind of get a hold of that. And I think that in a world today, we all want to be wise. We don't really want to be innocent. I want to be innocent as a dove as well. Because if I'm wise and innocent, now my wisdom can actually serve a purpose. And when your wisdom can serve a purpose, when you can be shrewd, and when you can think, and when you can reason, you will be less stressed. So as we learn to focus on the things that we can change and quit worrying about the things that we can't, then we can become these shrewd people that are very, very innocent. And then we have a greater impact on those around us. There's one more thing I'm going to share, and then we're going to be done. Super short, little motivational thing. Now, the camera on this thing keeps kind of locking up. I don't know if it's going to work or not. There again, I can't change it. Hopefully I can edit out the frozen spots if it did freeze too much. One of the things that I learned early on, excuse me, still dealing with bronchitis a little bit. One of the things I learned very early on as a manager and as a parent as well, and in every other arena in my life, once I learned this concept, the Bible says this: let your yes be yes and your no be no. Be a yes or a no person. Don't be a maybe or I'll think about it. Let your yes be yes and let your no be no. And if the answer is no, then with a clear conscience, just say no. Because you are innocent as a dove. You're not doing it out of malice or spite. You're doing it because the answer is no. And if the answer is yes, let the answer be a firm yes. Not a maybe, not I'll think about it, but yes. Let your yes be yes. Let your no be no. All young managers, I told them to learn to say the word no. All parents need to learn to say the word no. Not maybe, not I'll think about it, not because I said so, just no. My children learned a long time ago that when I said yes, it meant yes. And when I said no, it meant no. I didn't have to get ugly about it. I didn't have to yell about it. I didn't have to show my hiney and be all ugly. A simple yes and a simple no will take the stress in your life and it will go. Because when you learn to say no to the things you should and yes to the things you should, then you can truly put first things first. All of my wise and innocent friends, I want to tell you right now, thank you for supporting the channel and all of the things that you do. Again, I apologize that I could not get the Worship on Wheels episode up in the normal format. But I did want to share a little bit about stress and how we can decrease that stress and that worry in our life by simply focusing on the things we can change and not worrying about the things that we can't. And letting your yes be yes and your no be no, your life can become much more simple and much less stressful. So understand that yes, you can cast your cares on Him because you are loved, and so am I. And that's a wonderful thing. Now, Coach Vic and I got about 900 miles to drive tomorrow. So as you're watching this video, we are actually on the road. And we drove almost 1,000 miles today. We should be in Tucson tomorrow. When you watch this, we'll be driving to Tucson. And then the next day, we'll be in San Diego. Hopefully by then, I can get there and pick up a hard drive and maybe do some different things. Maybe do some things with some cameras. I did bring some cameras. Remember, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to do this. Go change the world.